turn left onto Ohio 2 East.
You know, nature is a motherfucker, man. Um, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, there was only one race of people on this planet. Um, the creation of this form of Caucasian, because there were several forms of white people, man. This latest form of white people, um, they've proven to be a little more stronger than the other forms. Let's just put it like that. Um, Probably because they're more diabolical. The cause of their creation, man, made them. They're just different, man, than the other forms of white people that walk this earth. Um, the creation of white people, mongoloid types, which would include Asians, so-called Spanish, blah blah blah. They owe their creation to adaptation. Nature had one set of people, and these one group of people only existed on one place on the planet. And once they started to travel about and go into other lands that had different environments, different predators, different everything than the one they originated from, nature was like, well, we're gonna have to make a few changes for this individual to survive this environment. And so that's where you get uh, some of the characteristics that we see in other races of people outside of Africa. But the thing is, all of those characteristics were already prevalent within the African population to begin with. So what nature did was these genes got isolated, and whatever genes worked for that environment, those genes survived that isolated gene pool. And then this is what gave birth to, let's say, Caucasian people. What worked for Caucasian people was the thin noses, the thin lips, the hair, all of that shit worked for the environment that they was in. When the sand people, bush people, whatever you want to call them, Hottentots, all that good shit, when they left Africa and they stumbled across what we would call Asia, what worked for them in that environment was the way that their eyes are, the slants of their eyes. Stuff like that worked for them in that environment. So that shit stayed. You know what I'm saying? It became a dominant trait within that group of people. Because if you look at the Hottentots or the Sands of Africa, their people, the facial characteristics vary. You know what I'm saying? You see that so-called Asian characteristics within that gene pool, but it's not the only characteristic within that group of people. So when they went over there to Asia, that specific characteristic suited them better to survive that area, so it stayed and all the other ones basically disappeared. You know what I mean? So all of these mutations happen to better or to further the human existence. So now we go fast forward some thousands and thousands of years, and nature said, well, we got all we needed to make the human race the best that it could possibly be. So it's time to end all the separation of the different pigments and bring it all back to one pigment. Now, if you look all over the world, you're seeing race mixing everywhere. And the only thing nature doing is it's taking the best qualities of each group that is separated and that it turned these isolated gene pools. It's taking all of those survival traits and it's going to combine them back into one fucking group of people. It started with one, it's going to end with one. And at first, you know, I had to think about this shit. The planet always go through some changes where you're either going to evolve or you're going to die. There's been mass extinctions in Earth's history for millions of years, man. And the way I'm looking at this shit is, you know, the planet is preparing us for some bullshit that's gonna happen on this planet, man. And that's why it's separating humans. It came up with these survival traits from all these different races, everything that made these different people survive in their environments. You know, it separated them, it did that, and now nature is putting them right back together because we're gonna need all that to survive this planet, man. You know what I mean? So at first I was thinking like, damn, because, you know, I got a biracial child, you know? And I had told myself, man, I wasn't never going to do that again. You know, I love my daughter. I don't regret her being here at all. But at the same time, I'm thinking like, that's not something I want to do again. But the more I started to pay attention to, all the race mixing going on in this planet, man, it's just some shit just started to come to me, man, and I had an understanding of nature's purpose in mixing the races, and in nature's purpose in separating the races or creating the races, because there was only one race, and there still is only one race, and that's the original people. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is a subspecies. But if you pay attention to nature and how nature creates subspecies, it does that so that this different group of whatever the case may be can survive certain environments. You know what I mean? A race has to be able to survive multiple. Any living organism has to be able to survive multiple environments, because what'll happen if you get accustomed to specialize in a certain environment, and then that environment is taken away from you. You have no other ways to adapt or to survive to any other environment. So this is why nature is doing what it's doing right now. And this is why it don't matter how hard we try to stop it. It don't matter what we do. The races are going to keep mixing, man. And the end result is going to be a people of color. You know what I mean? It's going to be that. They're going to be dark because there's more black people on the planet than any other group of people, and there's more dark colored people on the planet than any light colored group of people. So the end result is going to be a dark skinned people anyway. So nature going to do what it's going to do. There ain't nothing we can do to stop it. We can keep trying to demonize brothers and sisters or whoever for mixing outside their race. You know, in the here and now, it seems like some sellout type of bullshit. But in the big picture, man, we all started from one race, and all that shit gonna go right back to that, man. We just gonna go back with some more survival tactics than what we had when we started. That's just my opinion.